Hi guys, and welcome back to Switch Up. We have our upcoming games for the following week. Remember, we give away a free Nintendo Switch game each and every month to either patron as well as the subscriber most active on the channel. And oh boy, it's a good one. And once again, I don't know what it is about these months leading up to Christmas, well, quite obvious, there are a ridiculous number of quite good looking games coming. So without further ado, let's jump into the list. Starting with a smaller, probably less known title, the game Reventure is an adventure game that has 100 different endings. You're a wannabe hero, apparently, who's supposed to do hero-ish things, but sometimes blows that off and does crazy stuff instead. Ish. Every single decision you make in the game will lead to one of those different endings. It describes itself as an action-adventure platform strategy game and gives you a handy guide on how it's played. If only life was so easy. Apparently it has a lovely soundtrack, this one, and I really can't make out much from what's on the eShop. It looks quite generic, but I kind of like the stripped-down simplicity it offers. It sounds like it has an interesting premise. Whether or not that premise is worth £6, I'll let you decide. It's launching with a 25% off discount and will land on the 7th. Interestingly, the last Gameloft title I reviewed was free to play on mobile and then came to the Switch with a $20 price tag. Gameloft perhaps listened to my slight criticisms of that. With Asphalt 9 Legends, they are offering both a free to play at launch as well as a $20 pack that actually includes a good deal of content. If you're not familiar with the series on mobile platforms, it's come a long way since the early days. Now, I've been playing a lot of this for an upcoming review, and it is a very good game indeed in terms of the performance. It actually reminds me of the Burnout series now, allowing you to sideswipe cars off the track, do spins to eliminate others, and there are quite a few nice little mechanics including drifting, timed drifting to improve the speed, as well as a double tap mega boost. They've nailed the main thing, and that's a fun arcade racing experience. Plus, having that 4-player split screen action is definitely going to be something that appeals to many people. Keep an eye out for our review when it drops on the 8th. Another good title, and one from Team 17 that we're reviewing, in fact Glenn's already written this one, it's Yooka Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Now, unlike the previous titles, which were 3D free roaming affairs, they've opted for a hybrid 2.5D style, which has been used in some of the recent Donkey Kong games, as well as the Mega Man re-releases on the Nintendo Switch. I really enjoy this style. It seems to me a good alternative to pixel art, which can also be wonderful, and allows them to maintain many of the great things that this fixed perspective offers. There's an overworld here that apparently isn't just a hub, it provides a whole separate gaming experience. You can explore and unlock more 2D levels by completing objectives and puzzles, rescue the Royal Beetalion bees, and find collectibles. So it sounds like there's a few interesting things going on here. Once again, keep an eye out for our review, which should be coming in the coming days. Next up, we have Knight of Honor from Cubite Interactive that also drops on the 8th. And I'll be honest with you, when I first started playing this one, because I was going to stick it in a buy and avoid, I saw the visuals, and I mean, we see a lot of these types of games. I wasn't expecting much. But there's a lot more here than meets the eye. I've been enjoying it a great deal, and it has quite a punishing system as regards your health, but there are also a few checkpoints in there as well. There's a shop to buy your gear from, including spells and character upgrades, and over 20 different challenging stages to go through, and some very ridiculous and quirky bosses to defeat. You have your main weapon as well as spells, and a load of hidden objects to find. I'm really enjoying this game at the moment, and we'll let you know more in our buy and avoid. Focus Home Interactive are bringing Call of Cthulhu to the Nintendo Switch on the 8th. Now, if you watched our buy and avoid or wait for a sale list that was just dropped, you'll know that I said that this is a wait for a sale. It's a good game. I wouldn't say it was a great one. And on the Nintendo Switch, unfortunately, it really does suffer from a visual downgrade. I like the interesting RPG mechanics on offer here, but I would have liked a little more done in that regard. This launches on the 8th. Dropping in from Sometimes You is A Winter's Daydream. Now this is only around about £4 or £5. It's a very cheap text adventure, and it surrounds the story of a boy who's returning from having spent half a year in the city to his home in the countryside and discovers something unimaginable. For the price on offer here, it looks like you're getting a decent amount. The story's written by Ebi Hime, author of Sweetest Monster, Blackberry Honey, and The Way We All Go, and there's around 50,000 words of text, about 3 or 4 hours of reading. There's a custom soundtrack, and I do like this art style. These games can be quite interesting if they're done right. Not a bad one to keep an eye out for when it drops on the 8th as well. Ah, the Switch is expensive, isn't it? Burgertime Party from Marvelous Europe looks to take a classic burger building formula and turn it into a 4-player competitive arcade puzzle game. There's a great deal of content to enjoy here with over 100 stages, and looks to be a great deal of fun. This one also launches on, wait for it, you'll never guess, the 8th. Keep an eye out for it at £17.99. The next title is Trine 4 The Nightmare Prince from Modus Games. This drops for £29.99 or your regional equivalent and is the 4th in the series. Another game to use the lovely 2.5D style. It includes the 3 heroes from the other games, and this time they're sent on a quest to retrieve the troubled young Prince Celius. It has local and online multiplayer. You can play with up to 4 players online, again, or in local co-op. Follow the story of a haunted prince, solve some puzzles, again on your own or with some pals, and there are lots of skills to unlock. What's nice is that they haven't just rinsed and repeated the game. In fact, they've completely rebuilt the combat system from the ground up. An interesting one to keep your eye out for. Oh my word, it's launching on the 8th as well, isn't it? On the 8th. There you go. Rob a bank. Don't rob a bank. It's a joke. Ay caramba. The next title is called Stellatum and is another one from Sometimes You. We really like these guys because they do not ever choose the same genre or type of game to publish. It seems to be completely random, and I love them for it. They've hit some real gems as they've gone on. Now this looks very interesting. It's a scroll shooter, but not just a side scroll shooter. It looks like you can move your vehicle around in all directions. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but you can really equip your battleship down to the finest details. There's a real ship designing aspect to the game that looks very intriguing. It really is tingling my space nerd tired, I'm not going to lie. There's tons of different guns, loads of opponents, and, well, obviously loads of different levels. There's something about it. There's something about this one, and it is most certainly intriguing me. Thank goodness it drops on the 9th, so that you can save up all that money you just spent the day earlier. Oh dear. This one's only £11.46 with a 15% pre-order discount. Next up then we have Mistover from Crafton. This has a real Darkest Dungeon aesthetic to it. I do like this style, it looks very nice indeed. This is an RPG strategy adventure game. It's a single player, launching at $22.49 with a 10% pre-order bonus. Now, while the eShop doesn't give you a great deal of information, thankfully there is a demo. So if these visuals and the trailer interest you, then go download that before it drops on the 10th. Next up is a title called Marble and the Wood from Graffiti Games, and it's a Metroidvania set in the woods. There's a strange cult that resurrects you and speaks of an ancient prophecy that says that you will hunt down the great beasts, take their shape, and use their powers to save this dying world, and well, that's where your adventure's going to begin. It looks like the core story has a choice for you to make, whereby you can embrace the darkness or defeat it, and interestingly, the combat is your movement, so you drag your sword around that's too heavy for you to lift, and then when you recall it back to you, it will slice through enemies in the path. You can only maintain your non-human form for a limited time, but killing creatures extends your power. This is slightly concerning me because I'm actually really liking the visuals, and I like the premise of this game as well. This could be a very interesting one to keep your eye out for when it drops on the 10th at around about £12. Probably the most exciting game I'd say this week is Valfaris, or Valfaris, whichever way you want to say it, from Big Sugar. If you've played the excellent Slain Back from Hell, these guys were building this game even before they released that one. It's been in development for a long time, and that lovely heavy metal inspired soundtrack that we saw in Slain makes a welcome, slightly tweaked return here. You start with a default gun and a sword, and throughout your quest you'll unlock many more. I can't go too much into detail other than to say you must keep your eye out for this one. We'll be reviewing this as well on the channel. Next up, we have NIS America's next release, and it's the Alliance Alive HD Remaster. Now, the one and only Jace Glover should be reviewing this one for us, so hopefully you'll have a nice little Jace special review of this. You experience the world of the Alliance HD in a new light. There's new visuals, an updated interface, and many more tweaks have been made. The main story here is that humanity's been shattered by invading daemons from another realm. Basically, RPG 101. It's an RPG adventure game. Looks to have some interesting combat, and I do quite like these cutesy visuals. The only thing is the price is £49.99. Is it going to be worth it? Well, we'll find out in Jace's review. Also on the 11th is Doraemon Story of Seasons from Bandai Namco, dropping at £44.99, and that's another big priced game that looks to offer an incredible amount of content. Now for fans of games like Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, or even My Time at Portia to some degree, there's going to be a lot here for you. You customize your own farm by growing crops, raising farm animals, building furniture, and all the usual things you'd expect. What might set this apart is these absolutely lovely visuals. This is horrible, there's too many good games. This looks amazing and is worth keeping an eye out for. On that same day then, we have P-Cube's Aeternoblade II. This is launching at £34.99 and is a fast-paced action puzzle platformer. You can play as 3 unique characters, including returning heroine Freya and newcomers Felix and Bernard, as they journey across dimensions in a desperate struggle against the destruction of the Dark Abyss. This one looks to be all about the high combo attacks and allows you to string together multiple moves, including ground and air attacks, and really does seem to shine on the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully, once again, we can let you know if this one holds up when it drops on the 11th.
We must accomplish our mission, or their sacrifice will be in vain.
Are you sure at this very moment a sword in my hand is more useful than just empty faith?
Well, there we have it. The last game on the list. It is Silk from Huey Games. Now, it's been a long time since Huey Games released a title that we've reviewed on the channel. I think the last one was the space-based I forget the name. Glenn will let me know, I'm sure. But this one has made many interesting claims before its launch. The boldest of them is that the game world is absolutely gigantic, and it even states on the eShop that it is the biggest handcrafted open world of all time. It takes place on the Silk Road, and you have 3 million, square miles of uncharted terrain, from Roman Damascus to Three Kingdoms China. So, leave the backlog and go and spend your time exploring 3 million square miles of the Silk Road. Ish. You explore the vast expanse, overthrow Rome's greatest enemy, the powerful Parthian Empire, as the rebel, master the art of raiding to capture the fortunes of rival kingdoms as the warlord, or carve out a trading empire between the brutal battlegrounds of the Silk Road as the noble. You can level up any 7 of the thousands of advisors in the game as you hire your perfect party, each of which unlocks hundreds of unique choices in the world. Battle, trade, or explore, and this is launching really cheaply as well. This could be, oh my word, this could be a real sleeper hit. It's been in development for a while, and I believe it may have been early access on Steam, but it's finally coming to the Switch at a ridiculously low price, and another one that launches on the 11th. That is the final game for this week. Let me know down in the comments. Obviously, we have next week coming up, The Witcher 3. Oh my goodness, this console is unbelievable. Let me know if you're going to be picking any of these ones up. We'll do our best to cover as many of them as we can so that you're kept informed. Remember, we give away a free Nintendo Switch game each and every month to either patron as well as the subscriber most active on the channel. A big thanks to all of you who've supported us as we've reached 50,000, and now we're heading to get that little play button. For all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!